Last year we reviewed the Julbo Shield, and one of the questions that was frequently asked on the forums was this: what's the difference in between these glasses that cost £150 with this other pair of glasses which costs £20, other than perhaps the price? So today, before we take a look through 3 brand new, sparkly, jazzy and very orange pairs of sunglasses, we're going to talk about a few of the features that set the Julbo sunglasses range apart from those cheaper models that are available. So the first difference is within the frames and the materials used. Now, climbing and mountaineering tends to give things a battering, and if you're anything like me, the chances are you'll either sit on them or leave them in the top of your sack or the bottom of your sack and then put a pair of crampons on them. They need to be really, really, really robust so that you can throw them somewhere out of shot, and thankfully we're doing more than 2 pairs today, so I've got another pair here. But the robust nature and the ability to take abuse is absolutely key, as is things like little elements of just grip so that they don't actually fall off of your face. For when they do break, if you put them through extreme stress like I have with those glasses I've just thrown, sorry Julbo, all of the elements are available as spares from Julbo direct, so you can keep repairing them and there's no need just to throw them away. However, the frames aren't where the actual main value of the sunglasses are, and that's within the lenses. Now, anyone who's into photography will know that a cheaper lens doesn't mean a better quality picture, and the same can be said within the sunglasses lenses that Julbo use. So the cheapest sunglasses that are available out there will tend to use an acrylic or perhaps like a low-grade polycarbonate lens, which will provide some degree of protection, but they won't necessarily be able to shrug off those scratches that the higher grade polycarbonate can. So the Monterosa Ii that we've got here features a high-grade polycarbonate lens, which will mean if you are mountaineering, if there's rocks falling, or if you're just headbutting the rock, because that's the sort of thing that you do when you're mountaineering, if you're in chimneys or what have you, they can shrug off the damage much, much better than a lower grade or acrylic lens. So category 4 lenses are really, really dark, and for a lot of UK use, they can be a little limiting because of the fact that even today, which is really bright, when the clouds go by, it gets almost too dark to wear them, really. It's worth mentioning that within the Monte Bianco, the ones that we're reviewing are the Spectron Lens, which is a category 4 lens designed very much for climbing and mountaineering in environments with extreme levels of light, so things like glaciers. To make sure that you're keeping all the light out in those environments, you've also got these clips that go really quickly and really neatly just on the side there. Really simple to put on and really quick to remove, so that if you are wanting them off in a more casual use, it's really simple to do that. So in terms of fixed lenses, so by fixed, I mean they're either category 3 or category 4, and they don't move from one to the next and adapt around the light that's around you. What's the benefit? So the benefit is that they're really good, and we've gone through the grade of the polycarbonate and all the such like. Now the other benefit is price to an extent. Now these within category 3 or category 4 in that Spectron lens come in at £70. If you're looking to the reactive lens, which we'll talk about in a minute, which is the one kind of just in between category 2 and category 4, this is where that element of talking about lens and price really become most obvious, because the price goes all the way up to £150. Within the reactive technology, there are 2 differing options. So there's with polarization and without polarization. So for alpine use, the polarization is brilliant for the snowy environment, and it's also useful for water sports, which is something that's not of interest to me. So polarized lens allows you to see much more of the textures of the snow. This could make things like crevasses more obvious, or it could just make sumps and sinks more obvious too. Now for UK use, that's maybe not quite as much use, except for those bluebird Scottish winter days that appear really infrequent these days. So the difference in price for the reactive high mountain lenses with the polarization that go from category 2 to category 4 it's £155. And without the polarized lenses, the Julbo performance reactive lenses go from category 2 to category 4 for £125. So the other difference with the reactive lenses is what they're made of, and they're made of a material called NXT, which is kind of like the next level up from the polycarbonate lenses that the Spectron lenses use. Now the thing about this is the way in which the reactive technology is injected into the lens. Now what this means is that they just keep working. It doesn't matter if you scratch them, it's impregnated within the very lens itself. And so it doesn't fade with time, it keeps going. So the question is it worth it? Because the price difference is substantial. Within the Monte Bianco Ii that I've got here, the difference is £70 for a pair of Spectron lenses, compared to £110 for a polarized lens and £150 for that full polarized reactive lens. And the answer's probably one that just comes down to how deep your pockets are and how much as well you feel like you benefit from the technology. So if you're on a budget, getting a category 3 or category 4 Spectron lens for something like this would be a great investment for the long term. It's going to last, you're going to be able to repair it, it's going to keep going for a long, long time. For someone like me that doesn't actually get out to the Alps as much as they used to, and the Scottish winter days I've had are probably all in cloud anyway, the non-polarized reactive lenses are a good halfway house in between that high mountain status and the Spectron status. And finally, the reactive, the high mountain polarized lenses really are those who are looking at heading to the Alps and wanting a pair of sunglasses that they can kind of just leave on all day. It doesn't matter whether they're in sun or shade. And the same goes as well for the runners or the climbers who again just want to put them on and forget about them. And dare I say it, but having used the technology now, it's the one I'd go for. So as a very quick summary of the 3 models that we've got here, because we've already gone into a lot of detail about both the frames, the lenses and the other features. The Monterosa Ii that we've got here is potentially the smallest of the 3, which is just a quick reminder of how fit and shape are totally crucial, because what you need to make sure, if you can put your sunglasses on correctly, is that you get a good fit around the top, the sides and the bottom. So the next up is the Monte Bianco Ii, which you'll be glad to hear are available both in jazzy orange and not jazzy orange. These are a much bigger set of sunglasses, which can provide you the greater protection, particularly around the bottom and the sides. But if you've got a smaller head or higher cheekbones, that may potentially not work for your facial construction. And the next is the Shield M, standing for medium. Now these are a smaller version of the Shield that I reviewed last year, which again were a big old set of sunglasses. So fit my face, because I apparently have a humongous head, but for those with more normal head sizes, these would be well worth a look. So hopefully we've gone some way towards summarizing what makes these a little different, both in terms of the frames and the lenses, but also maybe what helps you make a buying decision behind whether or not you'd want that Spectron lens, the fixed lens, or the reactive lens, and the difference in between the price and the investment of the 2. It's worth mentioning again that each of the 3 that we've got here today come in a range of differing options in terms of both the frames and the lenses, so you can mix and match something that works for both your price and your budget and that looks dead cool. And finally, just to reaffirm the matter of fit, you wouldn't buy a pair of shoes that don't fit your feet, so don't buy a pair of sunglasses that doesn't fit your head.